Meeting will come to order. I'd like to welcome everyone out to the September the 2nd, 2025 meeting of Castle County Commissioners. If you would, please join me in a moment of silent prayer, followed by a pledge of allegiance. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, under the consent agenda item 4, you have the meeting agenda there before you and the minutes from our meeting on the 18th of August. Any corrections or additions to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I have one correction. On page 4, under the appointments for library board, the motion to vote in Harold Freeland was, according to this, Vice Chair Rose voted no. Actually, it was Tony Smith. I did. Yeah.
He was the nay on that one.
Yep.
Any other corrections or additions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes in the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ingram, second from Commissioner Smith. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Announcements and recognitions. I'll start with you, Commissioner Holt.
No.
Commissioner Totten?
Nope.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir. I do have one thing. Today I visited the Cherokee Tobacco site in Pelham, and I was pleased to find that they had started clearing and moving dirt. So the project is underway for our next industry.
All right, Commissioner Rose? Commissioner Ingram?
No, sir.
Mr. Clackett? All right, moving along, public comments. Do we have any public comments, Mr. Whitaker?
We have none unless the lady who just walked in wants to sign up. Or do you want to comment?
Yes, sir. Please sign in right there to county manager if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Daryl Freeland. Most of you voted on me last week. My comment today is very simple. It's just regarding some allegations that I've been made aware of as a member of the press regarding our county manager. This is not a presumption of innocence. I've seen some stuff in the town of Summerfield that had brought to my attention, considering that we have a conduct meeting today. Use of pornography by a town manager is kind of suspicious. I hope you guys would investigate this. Mr. Whitaker, please know that I believe your presumption of innocence. I would love to sit down and interview you to be able to get the full story. And also my second portion would just be regarding the town attorney. Trying to understand if he has a public email as well as a private one, because I see that, the Russell Johnson law email is when I tried to send you an email. It gave me, trying to find if I do a FOIA, it'd be like, is it your private versus a Castle County email? Would you be able to answer that to sign if there kind of a separation between your private and your public email for that purpose? And that'll be all. Thank you.
All right, item 7, Castle Arts Unplugged 2025 Summer Camp Report, provided by Karen Williamson. Mr. Whitaker, could you enlighten us whether Ms. Williamson is here or not?
So this report is related to a $5,000 grant that funded a 2-week program that was free to Caswell youth grades 1 through 12, and this is a FYI, the attached report.
So she's not going to be presenting.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, moving along. Item 8, economic development update. Mr. Bowman.
And in similar fashion, this was just a report for the board, and have talked with him since he's on board with economic development. And there will be times that he'll come before the board and give you a report and allow you to ask questions. Other times he may just provide a report for the agenda, such as he's done this time, and be glad to answer any questions if I can from his attachment.
Any questions? All right, moving down to discussion items. Number 9, Mr. Manager, public hearing on the Community Transportation Program grants.
Okay, and our deputy manager is coming up to cover this topic.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to introduce Skylar Pascal. She is going to be the new CATS director, and she's only been here maybe about 3 weeks now, going on, is it 4th week? So I'm going to help her out with this. I told her my very first one, I kind of observed as well, so you kind of know what to anticipate the next time. But I did want to introduce her to the board. And Skylar, if you'd like to say anything.
Nice to meet y'all. It's a pleasure to join y'all here today.
So does the board want to go into making a motion?
We need a motion to go into a public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Rose. Have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. We now set in the public hearing.
In your packet, you got the information, and keep in mind, this is for FY27. And we're not asking for anything in this current fiscal year. The state is always this far ahead in the grant cycle. So Castle County Area Transportation System is required to complete community transportation grant application and the capital call for project grant applications for fiscal year 26-27 by October the 3rd. We are required to hold a public hearing on the proposed project to allow members of the community the opportunity to comment on the transportation needs and the grant application. The public hearing did run in the Caswell Messenger, and we are requesting this in FY27, 3 replacement buses under our capital grant application. We are requesting administrative funding and the 5311 CTP grant application, and the capital 5310 purchase of services objective is to provide transportation services that meet the special needs of elderly persons and persons with disabilities to who mass transportation services are unavailable, insufficient, or inappropriate. We need to have a motion made by the board. Either we'll get into this later at this meeting, or if you choose to put it off to your next meeting, but I know the resolution will have to be adopted by the board. And just a reminder that all local matching funds required are transportation dollars. No ad valorem tax dollars are required for the operation of CATS. We are a standalone enterprise fund. And I know in your information packet, I provided the public hearing and the local share certification for funding, which explains the amount of funding that we'll be requesting. For 5311 administrative, we're requesting $138,869. And that local share, which of course is the enterprise funds, is $20,830 because it is required a 15% match. And that match will come out of the enterprise funds. For our combined capital for the 3 buses, it's $346,500. And the local share, which is a 10% match, is $34,650. And that also will come out of the enterprise funds. We also are asking for 5310 capital purchase of service, and that's for those transportation services that we provide for elderly and disabled. That's for out-of-county transportation trips. And that amount we're requesting is $54,900. And that requires a 10% match, which will be $5,490. And we will be putting up our road E&D grant funds for that match, for that $5,490. Are there any questions regarding the FY '27 grant application?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just one question, Ms. Williams. What do y'all do with the old buses once you rotate them out? Are they sold or they go back?
We do sell them, and we typically sell them through the state surplus because we are required to do a competitive bidding process. And then those proceeds go back to the transit system to help pay for capital, like for buses, your 10% match.
Okay, so does that money come back to your?
It
budget?
does. It comes back to CATS. When the surplus check comes in, I notify the finance office that it goes in our fixed sold assets line item. Now, the state may decide, I came back before the board where we had just the money back from the sales of our van. If that has not changed, since the administration has changed from Biden's to Trump's administration, there could be that if we get more than the 10% match when we sell the bus, we may have to return the remainder to back to federal funding.
Thank you. That's all I have, other than Ms. Pascal, welcome aboard and wish you the best. Thank you.
And the total project, I don't think I said that, is $540,269 that we're requesting for state funding.
Any other questions? All right, this is a public hearing. Any members of the public have any questions or comments? All right. Do I have a motion to go back into regular meeting?
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second from Commissioner Rose, that we return to regular meeting and close the public hearing. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we now stand in regular meeting. All right, gentlemen, you have before you this resolution. Is this something that you would like to take up tonight or at our next meeting? Since no ad valorem taxes will be used, Mr. Attorney, this doesn't fall under our $25,000 limit, does it?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as is.
I have a motion from Commissioner Rose to approve the resolution as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Now, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of approving the public transportation program resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williamson. Thank you, Schuyler, and welcome. All right, item 10, Board of Commissioners Rules of Procedure Revisions. Mr. Whitaker.
So this policy was originally adopted back in 2020. The impetus for bringing it before you this evening was the matter we had about recommendation from a political party back in March this year, that given the General Assembly's change in law, that needs to be updated, that statute and wording. But there were also other things that are outdated in this policy. And as I say in the cover sheet, some of these changes are necessary, some are your discretion. And what you have before you as a discussion item, and this topic can wait for a vote until the next meeting. But if you would look at the draft in your packet, we can just go through page by page if you would like. Page 1 there, just a typo under Rule 2. And then in Rule 2, item C, I feel like it's good to clarify there that a majority of board members references a quorum in county commissioner situation, and that we make a note to see Rule 28 with more about the quorum. So that's just a clarification suggestion. If you move to page 2 of that policy, and this is under Rule 3 related to closed sessions, you have an item C that dictates who generally goes into a closed session, and our deputy county manager is generally in those, so it's just an addition of that. If you go to page 3, the next suggested change is Rule 9 at the bottom. And this is a suggested change for practicality's sake. Right now, we have agenda planning meetings at 4 p.m. on Mondays, yet our rules say that anyone can submit an item by noon on Tuesday, the following day, related to an agenda topic. So this suggested wording just cleans that up by saying noon on Monday before the meeting. And that would give time for discussion that afternoon if something came in by that deadline. And this has only happened one time since I've been here, but it does need looking at and hopefully cleaning up. If you go to the next page, page 4, and this is again Rule 9, but item B, here are several suggested changes at your discretion to consider. So right now, in reference to the agenda packets being done, it dictates 96 hours before the actual meeting. I don't think generally people subtract out hours to get to when is that due. I think it would be more clearly stated if we just set a day and a time. And if you do the math, what that means is 96 hours before. For this meeting, it would have been Thursday evening, the Thursday before at 5 p.m. For the second meeting of the month, it'd be 6:30 p.m. You have noticed I am challenged to get those done always by those times. And from a practical standpoint, I'm suggesting 9 a.m. Friday instead. And then for clarification at the last part of B, it says that documents in the agenda packet, if not previously available for public inspection, shall become so when packets have been delivered. I think that reads better electronically. In the past, I know board members receive those at their home in some situations, and some language is left that way on different procedural documents. But from a practical standpoint, you're mostly getting these electronically. And as far as what this sentence is talking about, it says that the documents are available for public inspection when the board member gets it. I would argue that that's also when the sunshine list gets it, and that's the same time. So you get an email when the commissioners get an email at the same time the sunshine list gets an email, at the same time department heads and others get an email. And so I think that clarification speaks a little better to when that agenda packet becomes available for public inspection. And I also left a caveat there if you're a board member that wants pickup. So that, from my standpoint, is just a better wording on that whole section. If you roll down to the next page, there's nothing on page 5. On page 6, Rule 27, this is just a suggestion to add that this rule may be waived at the board's discretion, because that is one rule that you often consider waiving for different topics. And then on page 7 of that document, this is where it gets really messy, but it's pretty simple what's happening here. So before the General Assembly's change in relation to political party appointees in case of a vacancy, The rules currently state that GS 153A27 is the dictating statute, and that's what you see listed that is marked out in this draft, items A, B, and C. So what I'm proposing is that we use the updated statute, which is 153A-27.1, defined as vacancies on Board of Commissioners in certain counties. And what you see in your highlighted draft at the bottom of page 7 and on page 8 is this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. All is verbatim language from the new statute, the 27.1 that I'm suggesting adding. And with one little caveat here, if you search for this new statute, at least as of last week, it had not yet been updated to include the word Caswell for the counties. But the attorney and I both looked at this last week, and we do know that that language passed in the General Assembly. So that's why I have that underlined. So as it's proposed is the way it currently stands in the law. And that is the end of the proposed changes, other than updating the date there at the end. And be glad to answer any questions about any of the changes from the beginning.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Y'all should have had a chance to look this over. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
under Rule 27, Scott, do you, as county manager, have a preference on the consideration of unbudgeted expenditures for at $10,000? Do you have a preference on that? Or should we consider inflating that number? Because I think that number goes back many, many years. With inflation, maybe we should look at something a little higher.
I believe that number should be higher. I did not propose it in this draft, but I do believe that should be higher. And just for the sake of efficiency.
Yes.
I didn't have it wrote down and I can't get this to come up. It was the one about being able to change, vote on something like we did last week. Our last meeting where we changed it from, God, somebody help me out here.
I think this rule was waived at the last meeting. Is that what you're referencing?
$1,000 rule.
No, it was, yeah, it was. And we changed, well, we went ahead and voted on it instead of having to wait until the next session.
Yeah, that's where we waived, we suspended the rule, it was Rule 27.
Thank you. Okay, I'm
We
sorry.
suspended that.
I remember David Wren pushing hard for this, and that was way back. I really want to speak against that one because I don't feel like that's giving the public time to react to something.
But here again, that 10,000 dates back 25, 26 years. So consideration.
Have you got a number in mind, Mr.?
I would say at least 15,000, possibly higher.
So one reference that I could give you just for consideration is that the board must approve all contracts over 25,000. And so I have thought before that would be a good number to be, that would be congruent with that, your limit. But again, that is completely at the board's discretion.
I think increasing it to 25,000 would certainly eliminate a lot of the shuffling of papers back and forth, bringing it up at multiple meetings. We as a board should be able to decide, I think, on dollar amounts under 25,000 personally.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir, I make a motion that we increase the limit from 10,000 to 25,000.
And that's in reference to Rule 27.
Yes, sir.
You have a motion from Commissioner Smith that Rule 27, which concerns expenditures on off-budget, that is currently at 10,000, that limit be raised to 25,000. Do I have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I understand that for lack of a second. Just one thing. I wouldn't have a problem at bringing this thing back up once the audits are finished and we're kind of on a good path. I just would like to see in my opinion, I'd just like to see a little ways to get the audits finished up. I mean, and get them done, get them behind us and be on the right track. One thing I would ask is, in an emergency situation that exceeded this amount, what would be done in that?
There is an emergency clause within our purchasing contract policies.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So if I'm hearing you right, Commissioner Rose, you're saying that once the audits are completed, you wouldn't mind revisiting this $10,000 limit. Am I hearing that correctly?
Once the audits are completed and we've given it a little bit of time, whether I'm on the board, not on the board, then maybe revisit it. But I think due to the fact that we're still in this issue that we're in, not that I'm trying to micromanage, but I just would like to, my opinion, just make sure that we know where everything is going, just to make sure we don't go back and down that rabbit hole again.
All right, any other questions or concerns concerning the updated board policy? I would like to note there under the item 5, the agenda on page 3, Mr. Whitaker, where it says noon on Monday before the meeting, that does not preclude a board member from asking that an item be added.
It does not. If you look at, and I'm trying to find exactly where it's at, but there's another place in here that recognizes that it can be added by a board member within a reasonable amount of time.
All right.
What it says actually on the back of your agenda is any commissioner may have an item placed on the agenda by a timely request.
Right. I didn't want anyone to think that once your packet comes out, that if there's a pressing issue that it can't be addressed at that meeting. It can be, just as long as the majority board says, yeah, we'll talk about it tonight, that's all good and fine. Correct.
Right. In those instances, you always have the option when you adopt that consent agenda at the beginning of the meeting to add any topic that the board chooses to.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Does the board want to approve this tonight, or do they want to stew it over some more for the next 2 weeks?
I make a motion to wait.
Mr. Holt says we need to wait. That's a motion. Have a second
What's the motion?
to not act on this until our next meeting.
A second.
I have a second from Commissioner Totten. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. We will address this at our September the 15th meeting. Okay, item 11, appointments to JCPC. We have Stephanie Williamson and Caden Simpson. Mr. Whitaker, any comments on this? How many openings do we have?
Just the two at this time.
Okay, we have two
And-
applicants and two openings.
Correct, and this is the council that I have recently mentioned that's a bit complex in that it's large. It's 25 to or so positions. And there are a lot of specific assignments of who the composition of that membership should be. And so that's why the agenda, or rather the roster that you have, is provided by the JPCP Council, because they have all those positions that are largely dictated by GS 143B-846. And what you have in the packet are the applications for both Stephanie Williamson and Caden Simpson. And you have that roster in those positions, and you have our Citizen Advisory Board policy from 2020.
Do we have a motion to approve these two individuals to the JCPC Board Council?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
one question, Mr. Whitaker. Going over this, if I'm not mistaken, under the JCPC rules and stuff, they have to have a student on this board.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear they have to have.
They have to have a student on this board.
Yes, let me get that up on the screen, and their roster dictates those positions. So you're correct. Item 12, Caden Simpson, they already have them listed on the roster, but that would be the position to be filled tonight, and its designation is student.
Okay, and the reason I was asking is because on the application that he filled out, it says at least 18 years old, but when you go down to where he did not check 18, but under the JCPC rules, they do have to have somebody that is a student on that.
Right. My understanding from speaking with Miss Webster there, he is in high school.
Thank you.
11th grade, I think.
I think it was 11th grade.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve these two for the JCPC board.
I have a motion from Commissioner Rose to approve each two individuals to serve on that board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Smith. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, time for reports and updates. We'll start with you, Mr. Manager.
Few different items. The Safety Committee is scheduled to meet again September the 16th. The Opioid Committee will be having a meeting this Friday on the 5th. Our finance officer interviews are continuing. An update on the ambulance before anybody asks me about it. So this ambulance, this new ambulance, there was a problem with the compressor, the HVAC compressor in the back portion of the ambulance. So that was to be replaced. It was discovered it had custom mounting brackets that needed to come from Canada. So that had been ordered. It was supposed to be here, and I was told today that the carrier misplaced, they lost the brackets. So another set of brackets have been expedited to us. So we are going to eventually get this ambulance. So that's the update on it. And also we've talked about this summer, the Danville-Caswell Water Sewer Services Agreement, that amendment. If you remember, you approved some changes that went to the city of Danville. They were thinking differently about it, and we've been trying to get that back before you. And it is on Danville's agenda this evening. So we'll have an answer, hopefully, and this can be back before you at the September 16th meeting. But their meeting was after this evening, so we couldn't coordinate it any sooner. Also, I had mentioned before that emergency management was undertaking a lot of inventorying of our equipment and assets. And some good news to report on that. from our emergency management interim director. And when I'm talking about equipment there, we're talking, largely about generators, chainsaws, one of these signs with the lights that go up, a light tower, and then all of our trailers. And what was discovered is we had a lot of equipment that was not operational, that was not running, and that had never been titled for some of our trailers. But thankfully, with a lot of work, but with some help from other departments and dedicated staff, we've got generators in good shape now, chainsaws in good shape. Having this light tower serviced this week, and all our trailers have been inventoried, titles located. Each is registered with DMV and properly tagged. So gone a long way in terms of equipment. And, part of the purpose of this is not just to be ready for that event, emergency management event in the future, but also so that we can better make sure that we're maintaining this equipment. We can do regular scheduled checks and runs of this equipment and to keep it all in working condition. And there's some other work going on with that I won't get into yet, but just wanted to give you an update on that. And also in relation to the audit, both the current 24 audit and the upcoming 25 audit. And this afternoon, I did send you all an email with an update. So you have all of this in writing, but for the public's benefit, and if you haven't seen that email yet, for the 24 audit, and this update was provided this afternoon. So this is current through Jonna Sharp. It says the final trial balance has been provided to the auditors. The auditors are wrapping up their test work, verifying numbers to begin drafting the final financial statements. And I had told you that before. We were still tracking to have it done by the end of August, with the exception of the financial statements that would bleed over into September. And she also said a small number of journal entries, including this cardiac monitoring financing, are awaiting auditor approval, should be finalized this week. County has just received the final numbers from the vendor that are needed to properly record these cardiac monitor, that particular transaction. And the auditors have completed most of their field work. County is awaiting a final list of outstanding items to close out any remaining loose ends. And the auditors haven't yet provided a firm completion date as they're trying to balance our audit with the work that they're having to do currently on the 25 audits. But that is the update for 24. For 25, Ms. Sharp wanted me to assure everyone that staff's not waiting for the 24 to be done and be finalized before beginning the 25 audit. She said staff are actively finalizing year-end accruals and bank reconciliations to ensure a smooth year-end close. In planning for the upcoming financing, the local government commission has emphasized the importance of having all the bank reconciliations up to date. And so that's still our top priority. And upon completion of our 24 audit, staff will request the board to approve the 25 audit contract with TPSA in September, with staff actively preparing accruals and reconciliations, and with the board's approval of the audit contract. She says we remain confident that the 25 audit can be completed by December 31st. So we're still tracking well. We're not quite there on 24, but we've progressed as far as we can go without some other feedback. And the only other item that I have this evening was just to introduce our HR director who is in attendance. And Crystal, would you like to come up and just kind of introduce yourself briefly to them? And we've given you her name, but you haven't all likely got to meet her in person yet. So I just wanted her to have that opportunity while she's here tonight.
I'm Crystal Stoffer. I'm the HR director here. I'm excited to be here to make a difference and, do the best that I can for the county. So thank you guys for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Have you.
And she is doing a great job. She has come in, just hit the ground going. She has an extensive background knowledge in HR and a master's degree. She didn't brag on herself enough. So she has really been a great asset to the county so far, and we're thrilled to have her here.
Absolutely. And that's all I have for my report.
All right, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, I have a brief update on the delinquent tax collection foreclosure process here in the county. We recently had a hearing on August 25th regarding the case of Castle County versus Bruce Solomon and others. This is file number 24 CVD 405 in the District Court Division of Castle County. And all of those taxes have now been paid in full, so we can close this file out. And also, there was a recent inquiry as to the wildlife game lands here in the county and the property tax status for those game lands. So in doing research since our last meeting, it appears that the game lands properties have been conveyed to the state of North Carolina. And under our North Carolina General Statutes 105-278.1, this statute states in part that real and personal property belonging to the state, counties, and municipalities is exempt from taxation. So this is a state law pursuant to our general statutes and would need to be modified by our legislature. I'll have more updates in our closed session unless there are any questions at this time.
Hearing none, we'll move on to commissioner comments, updates. I'll start with you, Mr. Flaggett.
I understand from the budget workshop minutes of May 28th that an ordinance regarding too much trash and abandoned automobiles was to be presented to this board in August. Question is, wouldn't that be part of the Unified Development Ordinance, or is it separate? And what's the current status?
From the May 28th budget meeting.
Yeah, budget workshop meeting.
And what was your specific question about it?
Well, it mentions that there's supposed to be an ordinance come before this board in August regarding abandoned automobiles and too much trash. And I was wondering if that was going to be part of the Uniform Development Ordinance, or is it separate? And what's the status?
It should be a part of that. I know that I did speak with the planning director today about some recent changes that have been made to the UDO, but that was merely about updating it. So I don't have any updates specifically, but I'll be glad to follow up and send you an email, send the full board an email about that.
I was assuming that it was probably code enforcement. I don't know.
Well, and that would be addressed in the Unified Development Ordinance.
Thank you.
Mr. Ingram,
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and welcome to our new employees. And if there's anything, speaking for the board, if there's anything we can do to help you, feel free to ask. And thank you for all you do. That's all I have.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. I think we should take a look at the committee to study our solid waste fees. It's been a hot topic this week. And maybe we can take a couple board members and maybe some other staff, our solid waste director, and discuss alternate plans we can come up with to cut overall cost. Currently, we're at the mercy of one vendor to take our trash. And possibly we should take a look at maybe transporting our trash to outside landfills, just to see what the cost difference is. And if we need to sit down in the committee to do that, I'd be glad to volunteer.
I will say that the solid waste director and I just had a conversation about that today and what that might look like and the expenses involved with that.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Todd?
No.
Oh. Since we're on solid waste and the solid waste director is with us tonight, AJ, would you mind coming up and just give a 30,000 foot overview of a breakdown of the solid waste fees that are on the tax bill?
And while he's coming up, wanted to let everyone know, the public, that there was a media release that was put on our Facebook page this weekend, and I do have that on the screen.
Good evening. So back when the budget was adopted, the board decided to charge availability fee and a disposal fee. When the tax bills went out, it did not state that it had availability fee. One fee was $55, which should have been the availability fee. And the other availability fee is $130, which is the availability fee, and the disposal fee, which is $75 added together. The disposal fee covers everything at the offsite locations as well as the trash compactor at Yanceyville. The availability fee covers all the other services the department provides: recycling, closed landfill, equipment, etc. So a lot of people got, if you have property in town, you got availability fee of $55 if you have trash service. If you have property out in the county, you got availability fee of $130. That it was not broke up on the tax bill. If you already have trash service, First Piedmont, Republic Ways, Clayton and Hurdle, you should have got availability fee of $55 as well. All businesses that have dumpsters should have availability fee of $55. Now, there are some small businesses that do not have any dumpsters, so their availability fee would be $130 because they choose to haul their trash to one of our compactor sites. Did that answer most of it?
It does. Any questions for Mr. Pugh? I would just like for everybody to be on the same page, because I had a phone call from a resident that had called the tax office, and the reasoning that they gave her was completely wrong. So I did my best to explain it to her. And, you know, she said she still didn't like it, but at least she understood it now. So if we could all get on the same page explaining it, it would be really good.
I will say, since the press release, my email and phone number was placed on the press release, I have not received any calls or emails, but I'm happy to explain to anybody. Or if they have a property that's abandoned and they got charged, we can go out and look at it and have it taken off. Or if they have other trash service, then we can take it back down to the 55.
I think the big improvement we need to make there with communication is splitting that fee up on the tax bill itself to make it clear what's availability fee and what's the disposal fee.
And what each one is, what the availability fee covers, the disposal fee covers. Right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Duke. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Announcements and upcoming events. September the 4th, as is every Thursday through the end of September, I believe. Farmers Market here in Yanceyville, September the 8th, from 5:30 to 6:30. Author Marion Deerhake discusses Jane Pratt, North Carolina's first Congresswoman, at the Gunn Memorial Library. Our next meeting will be here on the 15th at 6:30. September the 23rd, Planning Board will meet at the library, September the 27th. which is a Saturday. The Hodan will be here in Yancville, weather permitting. Closed session to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided under General Statute 143-318.11 subsection A3. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Rose.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Totten. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we now sit in closed session.